It's about Mindy, but she can't stay with your parents for a while. I'll manage on weekdays, so can you take care of Mindy on the weekends? Huh? Are my parents busy? How long will this last? I'm not sure, but maybe she won't be able to stay with them anymore. What? Did you have a fight with them or something? They want to tell you directly about the detailed situation, so please wait a bit for the explanation. For now, since tomorrow is Saturday, please take care of Mindy. Huh? This is so sudden, it's impossible, you know? I'm really sorry for the short notice, but this is more important than a trip. I've had a trip planned with my buddies for a while now. I can't change the plans this late in the game. Can't they sense that something serious is going on from this conversation flow? The next day, my husband left his daughter with me and went on his trip. He has never been cooperative in raising his daughter. It's probably too late to complain about it now. However, I've realized that something unforgivable is happening this time. Wait, where's my credit card? Don't tell me. Realizing my card was missing, I hurriedly called my husband. Hey, did you take my credit card without asking? Yeah, I'm using your card for the trip. To think that there's a thief in my own home. I have various things I'm supposed to do for my in-laws, but I've decided to throw all that away and leave my husband. My name is Kate, I'm 35 years old. I opened a cafe in my hometown 3 years ago, and thankfully, business has been steady. I've always dreamed of having my own shop, so I'm living very fulfilling days now. However, there's one thing I regret. I wanted to own my own shop since I worked at a cafe in college. So, I've been working towards this dream since my student days. I don't regret spending my 20s on my career. But, I was so focused on work that I didn't date when I was young, and now my age equals my years without a boyfriend. Honestly, I still feel some regret about love, but I'm already 35 years old. Telling myself that I don't regret the path I've chosen is just an excuse to convince myself. Just when I had given up on love, Cupid extended a gentle hand to me. Is it okay if I bring my little one in here? A parent and child came into the shop and asked me as I was working behind the counter. Of course, our place is kid-friendly. No problem at all. I'll show you to your seat right away. I signaled the staff with my eyes to attend to the customers. When I looked back at the child, she seemed to be around 3 years old, an adorable little girl. She was holding her dad's hand and behaving quietly. Next, I shifted my gaze to the father and realized something. It might be a misunderstanding, so to confirm, I took the water the staff was about to bring over and went to their table. Excuse me, here's your water. Thank you. The man didn't recognize me when he looked at my face. The possibility of a misunderstanding increased, but I mustered up the courage to speak to him. Could it be, are you Kyle? Yes, I am, but... I'm Kate. Don't you remember me? We were together until junior high. Oh. Kate. It's been so long. The male customer turned out to be Kyle, my childhood friend, and the person I secretly had feelings for. I liked him from elementary school until we graduated from junior high, but I never confessed or even hinted at my feelings, so that love ended there. Kyle was athletic and top in his class, a popular guy that every school has. A bright and kind person who was popular with everyone. I thought there was no way a plain girl like me would ever be noticed by someone as popular as Kyle. Do you still live around here? Actually, I'm kind of embarrassed to say, but I got divorced and moved back here. I took custody of my daughter, but it's tough to take care of her alone. My parents and sister help out since they live here. Even when talking about divorce, Kyle, who was refreshing and handsome, didn't make the conversation feel heavy. I looked at Kyle, smiling lightly as he spoke, and thought he hadn't changed since elementary school. And then, Kyle started bringing his daughter, Mindy, to my store more frequently. Listen to this. Yesterday at kindergarten, my friend was like, Hey, Kate is working right now. It's okay, it's all good. At first, Mindy didn't talk much, but gradually she opened up and started sharing various stories with me. Perhaps because Mindy and I became close, Kyle started making advances on me. Then, we began dating, and a year later, we got married. I was over 35 and had given up on love, but I managed to hit a grand slam by marrying my first love. In addition to my work, I was thrilled that I managed to get married. However, as they say, marriage is the beginning of unhappiness, and after marrying Kyle, I gradually became unhappy. After the wedding, my husband moved out of his parents' house and into my apartment with his daughter. I had been feeling lonely in my unnecessarily large apartment, but it turned out to be a good thing that there was space when they moved in. My husband takes a train for an hour and a half one way to work out of state, so he gets home late. I also get home late because of my shop. So, after Mindy's kindergarten ends, she is taken care of by my in-laws until I can pick her up after the peak hours at my shop. I'm sorry for always leaving Mindy with you. It's totally fine. We're actually happy to spend time with our granddaughter. Exactly. We wouldn't mind even if you left her with us all the time. Linda, my mother-in-law, and Steve, my father-in-law, are very kind, and I have a good relationship with my in-laws. Ah, Kate, welcome back. Have you had dinner yet? Why don't you eat here? Thanks, but I need to prepare dinner for my husband. You can take some leftovers home. My brother will be fine with leftovers, right? That would be a bit too pitiful if it happens too often. Our relationship is good enough that I can tease my husband with Natalie, my sister-in-law. It's possible for my in-laws to be flexible with babysitting because they run a family business with a factory. My sister-in-law, who usually works in the office, picks up my daughter from preschool and looks after her while working. Suddenly, having a big daughter, my life became busy with work, housework, and childcare, but I'm managing somehow thanks to the support of my in-law family. Everything would be going smoothly, I wish I could say, but there actually is a problem with my husband. Again with this poor-looking home cooking? Well, it's a home-cooked meal. Isn't it natural to have home cooking at home? I thought once we got married, I'd get to eat fancy meals like the ones served in restaurants. We can't spend that much time or money on everyday meals. It seems my husband has complaints about my cooking. If he was expecting restaurant-quality meals, I'm sorry, but this is what a meal from a restaurant owner's house looks like. Well, I can handle him grumbling about this much, but he has a habit of wasteful spending, which I do have a problem with. Kyle, did you buy something again? A package arrived. Oh, has it finally come? This will make the graphics on my PC better. How much did that cost? About $1,100, I think. Buying such expensive things again. It's fine. This will improve my work efficiency. I don't understand much about computers. However, I can tell that he's lying. The computer part he bought is for his gaming setup, not for his work computer. He just casually spent $1,100 for his hobby. And it's not just computer parts for gaming. Kyle has many expensive hobbies like motorcycling, outdoor activities, and golf. I wouldn't complain if he enjoyed these within a budget, but he spends more than we can afford on his income. Kyle, you came back here, switched jobs, and now you're earning less than you did at your previous company, right? You should reconsider how you're using money. I'm buying these things with money I've earned myself. I'm not causing you any trouble, am I? You are. Contribute to our living expenses, please. Your store is doing well, and you're even planning to open a second location, right? You're the one making money, so I don't need to contribute to our living expenses. You. I swallowed the words that were on the tip of my tongue. Why do I need to cut corners on meals and save money even though I'm earning money? Just because you're a business owner, you think you know how to use money wisely? It's a pain for me when you push those values on me. Inside and outside the house, Kyle was like two different people. It seems I was deceived by his public persona. However, it seems he wasn't always such a careless person. I'm sorry. You've been taking care of Mindy even on weekends recently. my husband just goes out by himself. No, I should be the one apologizing. He's been causing trouble for Kate. That's okay. We owe you a lot as well. By the way, I wanted to ask, has Kyle always been so sloppy at home? Not at all. He used to be a dependable older brother. He even helped out with childcare properly. But since he got divorced and came back home, he's been gradually changing. Well, the reason for the divorce was his partner's affair, so I thought it was understandable that he'd be a bit upset. I see, it's the shock from the divorce and a kind of backlash, huh? He seemed fine, but it appeared that my husband was wounded from the divorce. Knowing this, I could sympathize with him to some extent. However, it's been over a year since the divorce, and we're married and have started a new life together, and we have a daughter. It might sound harsh, but I can't afford to have him moping around forever. Starting next month, even if it's just a little, contribute to the living expenses, okay? Huh? What are you planning to do with all that money you're hoarding? I'm not hoarding money. Why are you so obsessed with money? You money grubber! Where do you get off calling me a money grubber? And you, when are you going to stop being so deluded thinking people are still going to pamper you? You're not young enough to be spoiled anymore, you know. Where am I acting spoiled? It's been about a year since we started our married life. This was the first time I had a major argument with my husband after telling him my complaints directly. I think I should have scolded or warned my husband sooner. However, unlike my husband who was popular and had marriage experience, I had zero experience in relationships. So I didn't know how to scold or warn him, but getting called a money grubber by my husband, who's oblivious to others' feelings, made me explode with frustration. Enough! My husband, who was eating dinner, slammed his fork on the table and went to the bedroom. His behavior, like a child throwing a tantrum, shattered my once cool image of him from when he was a kid. Did my words strike him too hard, or was it the marital spat that escalated his tantrum? Welcome back. You're home early today. I got so pissed off, I quit. What? You quit your job? Yeah. My boss was incompetent, giving me wrong directions all the time. When I do my job the right way, he yells at me. I understand you had achievements at your previous job, but every company has its own way of doing things, right? You've only been at this job for about a year, don't you need to build a track record first before making complaints? Because my boss is incompetent, I can't even build a track record. Instead of contributing to living expenses, my husband lost his income. He started job hunting right away, but he would find something not to his liking in every interview, the attitude of the interviewer, the company seemed like it wouldn't evaluate him properly, and so on, and he didn't settle on a job. My husband listed various reasons, but I knew the truth was he just wasn't getting hired. The jobless husband finally started taking out his frustration on our daughter. Don't spread your toys around here. It's in the way. My husband kicked away the toys our daughter was playing with in the living room. Hearing our daughter cry, I immediately yelled at my husband. Hey! What are you doing? She's in the way. How is she in the way? There's only one toy out, and she was playing quietly. Perhaps because he couldn't find a job, my husband seemed quite irritated. He had been an excellent child. But as he grew older, it's not uncommon for people to be overtaken by others through experience and effort. Clinging too much to his past glories and misjudging his self-worth, my husband had become quite twisted. Moreover, despite having no income, he didn't curb his spending habits. After a while, he even gave up on job hunting. Hey, aren't you going to look for a job? I can't find a company that will evaluate me properly, what can you do? Hey, why don't you hire me at your shop? You can't even cook an egg, can you? That's true. I'm more suited to using my brain than my body. I was relieved when my husband easily backed down. There's no way I could hire my husband to work at my place. What are you going to do about work? You can't be unemployed forever, right? Don't worry about it. If push comes to shove, I can take over my parents' factory. You don't have any experience in factory work or management, do you? I can do it if I put my mind to it. Then, put your mind to job hunting, will you? I just can't get serious for someone else's company, you know? The environment really matters when it comes to giving it your all. I was so dumbfounded that I couldn't say anything. Dealing with my husband was already giving me a headache every day, and now another troubling situation had come up. About Mindy, I can't leave her with your parents for a while. I'll manage on weekdays, but could you look after her on weekends instead of going on bike tours or golfing? Huh? Are Mom and Dad busy? How long will it be? I don't know, but it might be that we can't leave her with them anymore. What? Did you have a fight with them or something? Explaining the situation to my husband here would make things smoother moving forward. However, it might be better if I don't explain it myself. Your parents want to talk to you about the details directly, so please wait a bit for the explanation. What? Are they bringing in new machines to the factory and increasing the workload? I'm going to take over in the future, so I'd welcome them expanding the business now. For now, please take care of Mindy tomorrow. It's Saturday. Your dad or mom said they'd come over to talk. What? It's impossible if you tell me all of a sudden like this. I'm sorry for the sudden request, but this is more important than a trip. I've had a travel plan with my biking buddies for a while now. I can't change it now. A trip? What is that? I didn't hear anything about that. Do I need to tell you? You're working, and on weekends, I'm the one taking Mindy to my parents' place, right? This is about Mindy and Kyle's parents. Can't you do something about your trip tomorrow? No way, no way. I need to sleep early for tomorrow. My husband went to the bedroom, laughing. I was filled with anger that he wouldn't take the matter seriously, even though I had mentioned it was about our daughter and his parents. However, I also knew that I was at fault for suddenly bringing it up. I contacted my manager and asked if they could manage without me at the shop for the next day. Early Saturday morning, my husband really did go on his trip. By increasing the number of part-time workers by 2, the shop managed to operate without me, so I stayed home and took care of my daughter. I was angry at my husband's attitude yesterday, but he had been uncooperative with childcare all along, so my anger quickly turned to exasperation. However, by Sunday, my exasperation turned back into anger. Sunday morning. That's right. I should take the money I withdrew with me. Kyle's parents were supposed to visit this weekend. However, since my husband went on his trip, that plan fell through, so I decided to go to my in-laws' house to take care of some business. When I opened the shelf where I kept my bank book and cards, I noticed one card was missing. Huh? Where's my credit card? I frantically searched my wallet, bag, and other shelves for the missing card. But no matter how much I searched, the card didn't show up. When I had exhausted all possible locations, a suspicion began to rise in my chest. Could it be? I hurriedly called my husband. Hey, did you take my credit card without asking? Yeah, I'm using your card for the trip. You were hoarding money, weren't you? I'm out of savings, so it really helped me out. That money isn't hidden savings. It's the money I've been saving for Mindy. Since we got married a little over a year ago, I had been diligently saving money for Mindy's future education and extracurricular activities. I put that money in my own account because it was a hassle to create a new account for my daughter, so I tried not to carry the card unless necessary. However, I did use it when shopping with my husband. He must have been watching when I entered the PIN or put the card away. I never thought I would be a victim of theft by a family member. What? I didn't know that. My bad. But I used quite a bit yesterday. I'll try not to use it today, so just save up again. How much did you use? About $5,000, I guess. What? $5,000 in one day? How did that happen? So, there are 6 of us on this trip, and I'm picking up the tab for everything. They didn't know it was your money, they thought it was my secret stash or something. I'm really sorry about that. Over the phone, My husband's voice didn't sound apologetic at all. First of all, using someone else's card without permission is just out of line. You just don't understand the value of money, do you? You gonna push your entrepreneur values on me again? Give it a rest, will ya? I'm trying to enjoy the trip here. Don't ruin the mood. It's just around $5,000, right? Just $5,000? Could you even earn that much now, with the way things are? What did you just say? I can earn $5,000 in no time. Heck, I can earn even more than that. Fine. If that's the case, you can live on your own, can't you? I feel relieved hearing you say that. I hung up before he could say any more. It seems he believes he can live on his own. I have various requests from my in-laws, but I decided to drop everything and give up on my husband. After the call, I packed our bags, took Mindy with me, and headed to my in-laws' place for the time being. Oh. Kate, what happened? Well, actually, when I told them about my husband stealing my card and splurging with it, my in-laws were furious. What the hell? Kate, you've been turning a blind eye to his selfish behavior because you thought he was heartbroken from the divorce. I can't believe he would go that far. Kate, we're so sorry you had to endure all this. I am on good terms with my in-laws. I had been discussing my troubles with them because of my husband's selfish behavior. However, they had asked me to be patient for a little while longer since he was still heartbroken from the divorce. They believed that after some time, he would heal and return to being the reliable husband he used to be. I also believed that he would return to his old self eventually, so I endured it. But I couldn't meet my in-laws' expectations and reached my limit after about a year. I am really grateful for all the help you've given me, but, on the phone, my husband said he could live by himself, so I am considering a divorce. I reminisced about the past year, living with Mindy, and all the times my in-laws helped take care of her, even feeding her dinner when they knew I was busy. Despite the troubles with my husband, I had really enjoyed our life together. Thinking about it coming to an end brought tears to my eyes, and I struggled to hold them back. Making my in-laws go through a second divorce in just a year made me think they must resent me, but to my surprise, they said something I hadn't expected. It's Kyle's fault. He's been moping around forever. You're better off divorcing him quickly. Don't you dare think this is your fault, Kate. We should be the ones apologizing. We're really sorry for everything. Wait, you're okay with me getting a divorce? What are you talking about? Of course, we are. He said he can live on his own, didn't he? Then just let him be. We'll help you out if you need anything. My in-laws took my side. I had braced myself for a scolding when I decided to tell them about my intention to divorce, but instead, I felt a huge sense of relief. After settling things at my in-laws' place, I was planning to stay at a hotel, but Mindy and I ended up staying with them. That night, when Kyle returned from his trip, he came to my in-laws' house, and I was there to confront him at the entrance. You were here after all. Let's go home and stop being so stubborn. I won't go back to that house until you leave, you know. Huh? What are you talking about? What am I talking about? That house is mine, so of course I'm going to stay, isn't that obvious? Oh, I see. So you really do want to divorce me. Just remember, I won't be there when you start regretting it later. Just as Kyle tried to enter his in-laws' house, 3 family members showed up. You're not coming into this house. What? Dad, what are you talking about? You've been asking what we're talking about, but you clearly don't understand the situation at all. We know what you've been doing to Kate. And we're not going to help you. You're not a child anymore. Stop whining and acting like a spoiled brat. What the? Isn't there anyone on my side? Kyle realized he was all alone and his face turned pale. Without a home to return to, no job, and no savings. It's understandable that he's panicking. Why are you guys taking Kate's side? We're a family, aren't we? Yes, we're related by blood, but but Kate has been much more of a family to us than you have. What do you mean? You don't even know what's going on in this house, do you? Or rather, you've never bothered to find out, have you? The truth is, we're closing down the factory. The business has been doing terribly. You said you'd take over the factory if you couldn't find a job, but what are you going to do now that the factory is gone? What? The in-laws' factory had been struggling, but the three of them had kept it a secret from both me and Kyle. As I picked up our daughter Mindy from their house every day, I noticed a sadness in the three of them, despite their cheerful demeanor, and I couldn't help but suspect something was wrong. Natalie, is there something bothering you? I might not be able to do much, but can you talk to me about it? What? How did you know something was wrong? I just had a feeling. That's amazing. You can sense things like that? After hearing about the dire financial situation of the factory, I decided to help out with their living expenses. We can't accept your money. I'm not giving you money to save the factory, it's for your living expenses. I'm not giving you millions of dollars, so please don't worry about it. I understand how tough running a business can be. Kate, thank you so much. We'll pay you back someday, I promise. That's not necessary. Instead, please continue to look after Mindy. Consider this money as payment for that. And so, I began sending money to the in-laws every month, essentially supporting the family. I don't believe they're on my side because of the money. I know them well enough to be sure they are not those kind of people. They are on my side because of the bond and trust we've built. However, even though my business is doing well, supporting 3 adults is quite a burden. Therefore, I started to be more frugal at home. In the midst of all this, when Kyle used Mindy's savings, I reached my limit of patience. I didn't know about that. You never told me, so it can't be helped, right? Kate noticed something was wrong without me saying anything, you know? And besides, I promised Kate that even though we won't ask you anything, if you ever came to us with questions, we wouldn't hide anything from you. But you never showed any concern for us. The in-laws had asked me to be patient with Kyle since he was heartbroken from the divorce. They thought that if he knew about their situation, he would feel even worse for not having helped them earlier. So, I decided not to tell Kyle about their situation. However, I was willing to share if he ever showed concern about it. Unfortunately, even when the situation got as bad as closing down the factory, Kyle remained oblivious. I could sense something was wrong, but Kyle didn't, and I'm sure the 3 of them must have felt lonely because of that. Hey, you really think I could notice that without any hints? It's pretty much impossible. You're not actually gonna abandon me, right? I'm getting a divorce. I can't stay with someone who's always sulking, acting spoiled, and on top of that, steals. It's just not possible. Kate is much more of a family to me than my brother ever was. The in-laws nodded in agreement to her words. Today, Mindy and I will stay here, so you should go back home. But don't come back tomorrow. I'll contact you later to discuss the divorce details. Don't come back here either. Perhaps feeling grateful that he had somewhere to go for the time being, the husband silently walked away from his in-laws' house. Watching his retreating figure, I realized that my marriage, started with 0 romantic experience, had come to an end in just 1 year. Afterward, the divorce with my husband went smoothly. Although my ex-husband had stolen and used my credit card without permission, the money was saved for our daughter, so it became part of our joint assets and he wasn't charged with theft. However, I could demand the money he spent without authorization to be returned. Instead of making that demand, I asked him to agree to the divorce. Legally, it seemed difficult to recover the $5,000 he used, but considering his hopeless situation, cut off from my family and the in-laws, and jobless, he probably thought it wasn't worth the hassle and time. Besides, if a claim for the $5,000 accidentally went through, it would be a severe blow to him. Therefore, he quickly accepted the divorce. If I think of it as buying a divorce for $5,000, it seems like a bargain. Custody went to my ex-husband. Honestly, I really struggled with the decision to take custody of our daughter. However, since my ex-in-laws, the three of them, offered to take care of her, I decided to give up custody. I did give up custody, but the current state of my ex-husband means he is definitely not capable of raising our daughter, so she has to be left in the care of the three ex-in-law family members. However, our relationship continues even after the divorce, so I can visit my daughter anytime I want. On the flip side, my ex-husband, who is now distanced from us, can't go back to his parents' house, so he can't see his daughter. He lost his job, money, and family because he was always relying on others. I opened my second store. Because of that, I needed more staff, so I hired Natalie as an employee. Additionally, although dismantling the factory would have been costly, the contractor working on my second store introduced me to a company looking for a factory tenant. Thus, the factory didn't need to be torn down, and my ex-in-laws could earn rental income. There's still some debt left, but with their pension and the rental income, they should manage to get by. I thought we were in big trouble when we decided to close down the factory, but I think I was able to help the three of them somehow. Today, I'm planning to visit my daughter. Right now, I'm feeling antsy, just waiting for work to end so I can see her.